What is going on, LBHT crew? We are back live. What's going on, B?
We're back live.
We're back live. Yes, I know y'all missed us. Okay, look, we weren't far. Okay, we still gave y'all some shows. All right, we were in the chat with y'all. Okay, we weren't that far away. Just calm down. All right. Oh, look, my TV just went off. That's nice. Anyway, it is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. But if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. Look, man, Ravens are in the playoffs, and we get a chance to beat the Steelers again in the playoffs. Okay? Can't ask for anything more than that. All right? We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Okay? So wherever you're watching this, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio form of this, make sure you leave a 5-star review. All right, who is in the chat? Jeremy is here early. Says, hey everyone, guess I'm first. I guess so, Jeremy. I guess so. IB Satan's in the house. Says, what up, LBHT? I heard that FS1 stands for Freak Show 1. Oh, they already started, B. They already started. When will court be in session? It's not going to be court of public opinion. It's going to be saved for the overtime show. All right, because we're going to spend a lot of time breaking that down, and probably a couple of our friends will want to chime in as well. If you want to, be a part of that, patreon.com/LBHT Show for just $5, or if you just want to buy that episode, that one episode you can buy for like $3, I think. What's going on, Jared? Says, what's up, fellas? Salute to you. All right. We got Killer in the house. He says, hola, Jose. Hola, Cam. And also, mucho gusto, Brodny.
And as always, nice to meet you, Cam.
Nice to meet you in 2025. All right. Hey, yo, Fonz is in the house. Says they already given specific sketchy refs on our game this week. Shaking my head. They ain't gonna say the Steelers from Russ. Okay.
I shake my head at Ravens fans, man. Stop worrying about the refs.
Our guy Jay the Six is in the house. Howdy. Some refs are worse than others.
Some are, but nobody's out to get Baltimore.
No. Suge is saying the same thing. I promise you.
Yeah.
Suge is thinking the same thing. Oh, of course they're going to use those refs.
And shout out to our guy Suge and everybody in California. I hope you're staying safe and
yes,
staying out of the way of the destruction of the wildfires going on right now.
Yes. Stay safe out there. All right. Pay the bills. What's going on? Thanks for coming through. DDSQ says, what's good, y'all? Playoffs here already. Season has flown by. I know. But, we're at the end now. Osmond's in the house. Says, happy 2025, everyone. Happy 2025, Osmond. Who else we got in here? Just Aloe says, what up, LBHT crew? Did you guys see Wednesday's actual lunch break hot take? Wednesdays?
To what are you referring?
I don't know. What happened? What happened at lunchtime? I don't know.
Maybe
put that in the chat.
He might be talking about FS1 also. I don't know. I forget when that came out.
No, that came out yesterday, I thought.
I don't know.
Yeah. Ravens Talk with Yolanda's in the house. What's going on,
What's up,
Yolanda? Thanks for coming through. Matt D's in the house. What's up, Matt? Oh, he's talking about Monday. Yeah. So yeah, it came out on Monday. Yes. Just Al, we're gonna talk about that in the overtime show. We thought about making that a court of public opinion, but that would take up the whole show. Okay, so that's gonna be an overtime topic. Chris M's in the house. What's going on? Says hello all. Hello, Chris. Thanks for coming through. What else we got in here? Tracy. What's up, Tracy? Says so glad you guys are back live, but still enjoyed the pre-recorded shows. Thank you, Tracy.
That's what I'm talking about. If you enjoy the pre-recorded shows, you put that in the chat, and we'll make that happen for you.
We're giving you guys a little bit of everything. We just put out a video yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Lamar versus Josh Allen. All right, that will be not quite a weekly thing, but you'll be getting a lot of those type of videos coming up here soon. Shout out to Magic Mind for making that happen. Okay. Thanks for coming through, Tracy. Always glad to see you. YG Meech says, no Zay scare y'all, or you see bait stepping up. We're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to get into that. All right. Killer says it came out on Sunday or Sunday night. Sunday night, Monday. It came out when you heard it. How about that? Okay. Court of public opinion, should Canada be the 51st state?
I'll tell you what, pay the bills. You come on the show and we'll debate that one.
Yeah. Zeke Okage is in the house. What's going on, Zeke? Says Jose and Brodny was good. Unks, hey, what's good with you? Happy New Year. MDT Sports was good. So Scott, what's up, guys? A little nervous. Hey, I hear you. They're our rival. They're our rival. You know, they could pull off the upset. I don't expect that, but you know, that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
All right. Osmond says pre-recorded show was also great. Yeah.
Thank you, Osmond. Appreciate you.
Thank you. We put some work into that. Okay. Those pre-recorded shows take a little bit more production. But you know, it gives us a little more flexibility. But we're back live. And there's Coach. Coach says Coach sent him. Salute.
Well, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming through. Sip to Tally Films. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. Says DC should become the 51st state, then Puerto Rico. Yeah. Then the Virgin Islands. That's where our family's from. All U.S. territories should be states. There you go. All right.
Coach said he needs some Magic Mind. Well, I have some great news for you, Coach. Okay. If you click on that Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen video, there'll be a link in there with a code, get you a nice discount, and get you right.
You might as well just put the link up real quick. You know, I mean,
we'll do that in our sponsor videos.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll discuss that later. MagicMind.com/LBHTJAN. All right. That's what you want. That's what you want to do. Cyborg, what's good? All right, we got everybody. Okay. It's been a while. B hasn't hit us with a Black History fact.
I don't know why you would roll into it like that. They're for live shows. We did recorded shows. Now, if we switch over to recorded shows exclusively, then of course the Black History fact will follow. But if we're taking the time off and we're not doing live shows, then there's no Black History fact.
False.
I don't understand.
For the LBHT show live pre-recorded. Okay, I already gave the memo to Okole. He understands no more PTO.
That's why y'all not FBAs. I didn't know. Here's another fun fact. DDSQ. No one is an FBA. That's a scam, and you should stop listening to that dude.
Yeah. In fact, I encourage you to come over to the Overtime Show. We could talk about that. And you know, I like Tyreek Nasheed. I think he's entertaining, but that's not somebody you want to follow down that path. Yvette Carnell is somebody more in line with that line of thinking. And that's ADOS, ADOS. Okay, but we'll discuss that. And
also a scam. But
thank you. But I'll tell you about that.
Or for subscribing, unique.
Oh yes, shout out for subscribing. But no, we'll break that down on Overtime Show. That's a good topic. We'll break that down. There are two distinct differences. There are specific goals in mind for each one of them. One I agree with a little bit more, but I'll tell you why. Where they both get it wrong. All right, one's all the way wrong. One's wrong, but there's some things I like. All right. Sway, what's good? It says froze. Oh, he said I froze. Well, you know, look, internet. All right, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Man, we already got off to a hot start. We ain't even getting to Ravens talk yet. Okay, do we have a Black History fact?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Live shows are where the Black History facts happen. We like to start
every show with the Black History fact, every live show, I guess. And B and Okole have a Black History fact for you.
Welcome to this week's Black History Fact. Stagecoach Mary Fields, born around 1832, was a trailblazing African-American woman known for her tenacity and pioneering spirit. Originally from Hickman County, Tennessee, she was born into slavery and gained her freedom following the Civil War. Mary took on various jobs after her emancipation, including working as a chambermaid on a Mississippi River steamboat. In 1884, she made her way to Montana to care for Mother Mary Amadeus at St. Peter's Mission. Mary's role at the mission was multifaceted, encompassing maintenance work, repairs, and hauling supplies. Her strong personality and occasional use of colorful language eventually led to her departure from the mission in 1894. Mary relocated to Cascade, Montana, where she briefly ran a tavern. Despite this venture ending in bankruptcy, she didn't give up. At the age of 60, she became a star route carrier, delivering mail between Cascade and St. Peter's Mission. Known for her resilience, Mary braved harsh weather and rugged terrain, even defending the mail from thieves with her trusty rifle and revolver. Stagecoach Mary's legacy endures as a testament to her strength, independence, and unwavering determination in overcoming obstacles.
All right, and look who was in the house. Our guy AD. He also blessed us with a super chat. Salute, salute.
Yo, yo, yo. We in here, LBHT, yeah.
Thanks for coming through,
Adrian.
man.
Appreciate you.
Already.
Oh, look who else was in the chat. Our guy Alan. What's good?
Alan.
Portrayed by Zazie Beetz in hit film The Harder They Fall. I was just about to say that, Alan. I was like, didn't they play her in that? That was on Netflix, right?
Those were all those characters were all real people. Obviously, those weren't their real stories. We had actually started doing a series of those characters leading up to the film, but I mean, we started kind of late, so we only did a few.
Actually, if you want to dive deeper into that, go to One Mic History. Okay, that's our guy, Country Boy. He's been on the show before. Check out his podcast. It's all Black History facts, and he does. I think he's done a series on that, on each one of those characters in the movie. So One Mic History, go check him out. I'll put his link in the description. All right, and we got another super chat from Rave Kingdom. Salute, says LBHT been sick, staying strong though. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what it's that time, man. The weather dropped drastically over here. I'm not sure where you're at, Rave, but over here in the Baltimore area, I'm not feeling this weather at all. So, but glad you're here, though. Glad you're here. All right, Raven C's in the house. What's good? What's good? Says brothers. What's good? Hey, good to see you. Happy New Year, my friend. All right, B. Ravens, Steelers, Part 3, and Adrian too. I'm sorry, I left you out of that. Ravens, Steelers, Part 3. How are we feeling about this game?
I mean, I feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna be very entertained. Very much looking forward to it. I don't feel particularly good about it for the Steelers. I think that like we talked about a lot on the show. I think Russ is kind of winding down for the season. His arm has given them what it's got, and I think he's just about on empty. I think they're going to come into Baltimore and they're going to catch a bit of a beating, but it's always fun when these two play regardless.
Now, okay, so I've heard you say that a couple of times, like you think his arm is winding down. Do you think it's just he doesn't have the arm strength anymore? Like his arm is just shot?
Yeah, I think not that it's shot, but he can't give you a full season.
Got you.
He gives about a half a season, then he starts to lose it. I mean, you saw in their last game, he just could not get the ball to Garrett Wilson. He could not get the ball to George Pickens in the last game. He was very inaccurate downfield, and he starts to play a bit more erratic. I think that's the way it's going to go. They're playing I believe, on Saturday, and I don't really see it being that close. But like I said, Baltimore and Pittsburgh is always a very entertaining matchup, regardless of the outcome.
All right, what you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I would be inclined to go in the same direction as you, Brodny, except for the fact that, man, it's the Steelers. You know, we know them, they know us. It's like fighting your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be a lot stronger than you, but you just know that the jab they hit him with, or you know he's throwing that right. Like, that's exactly what we got in this matchup. It's a 10-point spread or 9.5 points. I'm inclined to believe that we don't cover that spread. I got us winning by 6 or 7 points. I think it's going to be close. I think Ravens fans are used to, over the years, the heart palpitations and the anxiety, just not knowing how it's going to go. I think Justin Tucker could loom big in a game like this. We're talking about 25 degrees, terrible weather. Chris Boswell has been amazing for the Steelers all season long. And if they can hold us in the 20s, then it's going to be a close game. I think if it gets up into the 30s, they just don't have the firepower to match us, especially if we get Derrick Henry rolling. We can work in some play action. We can do some RPOs and, get Likely loose, get Andrews loose, get Bateman down the field. Nelson Aguilar, he could be big in this game as well, because it looks like Zay Flowers may not be able to suit up. And we need something from the combination of Aguilar and Tylan Wallace as well. But I'm inclined to believe that we'll win the game. I just don't see the blowout that a lot of people are predicting right now.
Now, I was going to ask both of y'all how you feel about Zay Flowers being out. I'm looking at the chat, and a few people are concerned about Zay Flowers not playing in this. I think that's a blow, right? Because even if he doesn't get that many catches, he helps stretch the field, right? Um, but you kind of answered that. You believe Bateman and Aguilar and the other player like Mark Andrews will step up.
You're worried about Zay's loss. Obviously, he's the best receiver on the team. Rashad's been playing well, but you want more than that in the in the playoff scenario. But I think, and this is kind of heading into the talk about one of our submitted questions, but I think that if the Ravens do what they should do, what they need to do, which is focus on running the ball with Derrick Henry, with Keaton Mitchell. I'm not sure if Justice has been cleared yet. But if he is with Justice Hill, then Zay not being there won't be nearly as big of an issue. I do expect Mark Andrews to finally step up in the playoffs and actually play well. And then obviously Isaiah Likely, he stepped up in the playoffs for them before, and I respect Rashad to continue his positive season as well.
All right, now, yeah, last time B said this, that he didn't think the game's gonna be particularly close, and I was like, nah, you're bugging, right? But it wasn't particularly close. I mean, I think it was competitive up to a certain point, though. The game got away from the Steelers down the stretch. But I seeing a pattern that 4-game losing streak. Every game you could look at and say, if they played better here, they could win. Right? I thought that in the blowout game against the Chiefs. I looked at that game. I said, if they don't turn the ball over as many times as they did, Russ doesn't throw the interception in the red zone. They don't have a fumble, they could win that game. Same thing in the Cincinnati game. Like, there are so many things I'm looking at. I'm like, if they clean it up, they win that game. But they haven't, and you can't go into the playoffs stumbling and not on the same page, right? Like, you think you're gonna get it right by Saturday? I don't think so. Like, and the issues with Russ, like B said, I don't think those are things that they can fix or he can fix, right? It kind of is what it is with him. And if you can't get Russ at his full capacity, how effective is that offense going to be? We'll find out. Like, the defense, our defense has played a lot better, but we've played some weaker competition over these last couple of weeks too. So, it could be a little bit of fool's gold there, or it could be that they figured out some things. They need to play discipline. I think if they don't need to play great. They just need to play disciplined football. Don't give up those big splash plays, and we should have a very good run throughout the playoffs, starting with the Steelers. All right, so who had it? Somebody said something in here. Attitude Pop. He was saying that that he did throw the ball to George Pickens. He just dropped every pass and was pouting like a baby. He did drop a few passes in that game. He did, but down the stretch, there's a couple that Russ couldn't get, didn't get the ball to him.
Yeah, like the one that was essentially a wide open touchdown that fell 7 yards short.
Yeah,
Turn around and run back to try and get to. Like, you can say that all you want. Like, he didn't drop 6 passes. He got targeted 6 times. He caught one for 0 yards. The week before, he had, I think, 50 yards. Russ hasn't played well recently. I mean, it's what it's been for the last several years with Russ.
It's a good question. Who's going to start at left guard? Well, McCarry didn't play this week because they said he was sick, right?
Sure.
He did start, actually. I didn't even realize it. He started the game and then they took him out. So I would say McCarry. He'll probably get the start, unless he doesn't. But I said this after the game. That position, like this, that's the type of impact McCarry has. Whether he plays or he doesn't play, you're not going to really feel it on that side. Like, they are what they are. They're not great, obviously, but they are what they are. McCarry isn't a game changer like that for the O-line. He's a rotational player, that has to step into a starting role because EDC didn't do a good job of filling that spot. But, overall, right now, everything looks like it's clicking. Don't have a lot of complaints about the O-line. But we'll see. This is where they need to really show it, right? Really show that growth. Even with the Steelers, because the Steelers defense is still, Cam Hayward still Cam Hayward. TJ Watt still TJ Watt. There's no fall off with them.
And I would suspect that McCarry will start simply because he has more experience. He has played in the playoffs before, and you don't want to just toss Voorhees or Cleveland out there as first timers and say, "Hey, go get them," when you know that they can't.
Yeah. Who's a better guard right now? I'm not a fan of any of them. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I think we need to go and get a guard.
I think the answer is clear. Pro Bowl alternate Daniel Falele, who you all owe massive apologies to. I told you every single week that Daniel was the guy. All right. I told you I believe in Daniel, that Daniel's going to come around, and the voters saw it.
You did. See, Iron Addict says, are we forgetting about Fields? What's Fields going to do? Are they saying he's going to start?
No, he's it looks like he's going to be playing, and they like to throw him in there and have him run in certain situations, and it's just like, hey, if you see Justin Fields on the field, then he's going to run. I don't think it shouldn't be a huge deal for the Ravens defense, but I mean, Justin Fields is a very talented runner, obviously, but when he's on the field, you know what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's a wildcat offense. If Fields is on the field, if he fakes it to the running back, he's running right like 85% of the time. But then again, we saw the first the first Steelers game, he did have that big first down at the end. And I don't know why we, played him for the pass. You knew he was coming in to pretty much run that RPO and milk the clock out. So Justin Fields, obviously, I feel like is the more dangerous of the two quarterbacks, but he hasn't really started since week 6? It's been 10, 12 weeks since he started, 3 months. So if he is out there for a prolonged period of time, he's going to be rusty. He doesn't have the continuity with the receivers. And I just don't expect Tomlin to do that. They had the last, 10 weeks to mix him in more, and they just haven't done so.
Yeah, I mean, they're competing for, obviously the division and just position in the playoffs. So I think if they were able to win a couple of these last 4 games, it'd be easier to put them in, right? Win 2 games and you win the division, and then you can play him, and then you can kind of evaluate what he can do for you in the playoffs. I think, yeah, maybe they mix him in. Yeah, like you said, those wildcat formations and whatnot, just on strictly run plays. But that's, how involved is he going to be? Not that involved, I don't think.
Hilligan says he did throw one deep ball to Pickens versus the Browns, so they do have to obviously be aware of that. But that's not really Justin Fields' strength anyway. So I wouldn't be too worried about it at this point. And especially with, like Adrian said, him having not been part of the game plan, for an extended period. I wouldn't really expect him to come in and hit you over the top with Pickens and beat, Hamilton, beat, Marlowe, beat, some of the guys in that secondary. It's possible, but I just don't really think that Justin's going to play too big a role in this game, unless, of course, they pull Russ or Russ gets hurt or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Score prediction. What do you guys think?
So, like I said, I do think that they will go heavy run. I think you're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. I think you'll see Lamar run a lot. I think you'll see Keaton Mitchell get 5 to 7 carries on offense as well. I think they'll be effective, but obviously running the ball means you're going to keep the score down a bit. So I'm going to say 28 to, I'll say 28-14. And it won't look that close.
What about you, AD?
I'm going 27-20. I think that they'll be able to score a little bit. The recipe for the Steelers is going to be a big special teams play, I think. Calvin Austin or somebody running back a punt or a kickoff return. A TJ Watt trifecta, sack, forced fumble, strip, turnover. That type of thing could really hurt us. We have to win the turnover battle. If we win that, I just don't think they have the firepower to be able to compete and beat us for a 60-minute game. But if we do turn the ball over and we do get down and Harbaugh starts, getting chicken lipped on the sideline, looking, like he's about to have a conniption, then and Mike Tomlin, if Mike Tomlin is over there and he's pushing the right buttons and we're getting tight, I think that they can stay in the game. And that's really what we have to avoid. I think we need to get off to a fast start because we've seen in our playoff losses that we get off the slow starts, we get behind, and the offense gets tight, Harbaugh gets tight, and the team follows suit.
I take it back, 35-14.
Alan, I was waiting this. I was about to ask you who what's your prediction? Alan is a Steelers fan. I love the faith in your team.
I love your kicker missing one extra point.
Spooky J says beat up Pickens and make him quit. Yeah, I think Pickens is ready to leave. I think he's ready to leave Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has that history. Pittsburgh is they have a very unique history with wide receivers. They develop amazing wide receivers, and then those wide receivers want to go. Right, but they can go because they'll get another wide receiver.
Thank you very much. Pay the bills. He says 27-16. I'm going to go ahead and assume he means in favor of Baltimore.
That's what the purple emojis mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was distracted by the Canadian dollars.
Oh, Alan shocked me here. He says, really though, 27-20 Baltimore. I you know what? I feel you, man. Like you lose 4 in a row, you don't feel good. You don't feel good. If the Ravens lost 4 in a row going to the playoffs, I don't know if I watched the game.
How he stole my score though? Like that was literally just my score.
When Thoring says, "What's our answer if Pittsburgh stacks the box on defense?" I mean, honestly, the answer is that you have the 3-time MVP and best quarterback in the league under center, and if they're trying to stack the box against the run, he should pick their secondary apart with very little issue.
If they stack the box the whole game to stop the run, that defensive coordinator will get fired. Okay. You've played the Ravens twice. Lamar Jackson should be in line for his 3rd MVP. He was a few completed passes away from having the best passer rating in NFL history. You cannot fall for and this is a black coach in Mike Tomlin. He ain't gonna fall for that trope of black quarterback, stack the box, make him throw. We well past that. Going on his 3rd MVP, you well past stack the box and make him throw. All right. If that's your strategy, you should be fired. If we're in our meetings and I'm looking at D coordinator and say, Coach, so what we thinking? Hey, we gotta stop Derrick Henry. We're gonna stack the box. We can spy Lamar, and we're gonna force him to throw the ball. All right, you're fired. Linebacker coach, you're up. What you got? You better play that pass. You better play the pass. Zay Flowers is out. That hurts. Rashad Bateman has been playing good. Mark Andrews has really stepped his game, all the way up. Look like vintage Mark Andrews. We all believe Mark Andrews is finally going to break out in the playoffs this season. You got Isaiah Likely, so there's still some guys out there, and yeah, you got Derrick Henry. So you got to do a little bit more than just stack the box. And if Justice Hill comes back, that's somebody he can catch out the backfield. You need something better.
Yeah, Lamar calls it a pick your poison offense, essentially because, we got Derrick Henry at 30, now 31 years old, averaging 5.9 yards a carry. We have Lamar Jackson leading the league in yards per play, in yards per pass. We have the Ravens leading the league in yards per play as well as a team. And I think the third highest scoring offense in the league. So when you put those things together, like, you can't give the Ravens one consistent look and expect it to work for 60 minutes. You're going to have to mix in blitzes. You're going to have to mix in man. You're going to have to mix in zone. You're going to have to stack the box sometimes. You're going to have to play shell coverage. You're going to have to mix looks because Lamar has seen every defense that you can throw at him. Derrick Henry has seen every defense that you can throw at him as well. And if you give them a look that they understand that they can diagnose at the line of scrimmage, they're going to pick you apart. So I expect the Steelers to try to show some wrinkles that they haven't shown in the regular season and to mix in different defenses just so Lamar and Derrick Henry don't get comfortable back there.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I think because yes, if you're the Steelers, you do want to put an emphasis on the run, not stack the box, but you need to be worried about that because the last game they played, I think the Ravens figured out after the first game, man, we can run on them. We wasted too much time early on not running the ball, and they made sure they came out the gate establishing that they're going to do the same exact thing. And if they do it too much in the first half, defense is going to get tired. Derrick Henry's going to be ramped up, and they're really going to run it down your throat in the second half. And they're reeling, right? Like you don't want him. I mean, he had 8 yards in the first half against Cleveland, and then finished the game with like 138 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Adrian, run the ball. So they're going to come out the gate running. You got to be ready for that. But yeah, it's tough because if you focus too much on it and you're playing a run, Lamar will definitely eat you up with the pass game.
And the reality too is, I just think that this Steelers team isn't what they were in midseason or even at the beginning of the season. They've lost 4 in a row. Only the Cincinnati game was close. Russ hasn't thrown for more than 220 yards in any of those games. They don't have a reliable number 2 receiver. They don't really have a reliable run game. I think I think it's just kind of caught up to them a bit. Like, they're not an overly talented team. They played well. Russ gave them everything he had during that middle stretch of the season. Obviously, Justin Fields played pretty well to open up the season, get them to 4-2 to begin with. But now you're at the end of the year when every game, everybody is up for every game, right? They all matter. You're playing the best teams in the league in the playoffs. And for Pittsburgh, you're going on the road to try and do it. And I just don't see them snapping out of this funk that they've been in.
Yeah. One other thing I want to mention before we move on, I saw something about the Ravens redoing Marcus Williams' contract so they can cut him in the offseason, designate him as a post June 1st cut.
Yeah.
What happened with this man?
Well, what happened is he was a pretty good safety, and then he wasn't. Like it's, look, honestly, most players in the league don't have long primes. They don't stay, at the top of the league for an extended period. That's
Right.
reserved for truly great players,
Yeah.
and also it's a little bit of why the rest of the league doesn't value safeties. Right?
Yeah.
They come and go unless you have again truly special players, which I think Kyle Hamilton is, right,
Yeah.
and Ed
Yeah.
Reed was. So it's understandable why Baltimore kind of leans that way a bit, but it's the same. It's the exact same thing in middle linebacker. They had Ray Lewis, so you kind of buy into that. But middle linebackers have short careers. They have short spans as being those difference making type players. But in Baltimore, that's what worked in the past, so that's kind of what they lean on. But yeah, I mean, Marcus Williams, he just. I mean, I don't want to say it's all that he hit a cliff or anything like that, but like, I think there's clearly some personality. I think there's clearly some personal issues going on with him and the team, uh, and I feel like he probably just doesn't want to be there anymore. But the fall off in play was, I mean, it's not shocking.
Well, also,
No.
there were some injuries as well. Like, let's
Yeah.
not obscure that. Like, I feel like when Williams came back from injury, he wasn't the same guy. And when you start seeing guys, catch 50-yard bombs over your head, that has to weigh on your confidence as somebody that's been a ball hog for the majority of their career. Marcus Williams, I don't know if he was ever known as a lockdown safety, but he was somebody that could turn the football over. And I think that's what the Ravens wanted when they picked him up from New Orleans. They wanted somebody that was going to be able to win or help us win a turnover battle early enough. And that's what he was early on when he came to Baltimore. He had a great first season with us. I don't want to discount that at all. But, over the last year and a half, 2 years, he just hasn't been reliable health wise. And when he has been healthy, I'm not saying he was Eddie Jackson, but he wasn't even our Darius Washington or Geno Stone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he just wasn't the guy that we paid $70 million, or we thought we were getting when we gave him that $70 million deal. And it's like you said, Jose. Sometimes when you pay a safety, this is the result that you get. And um, unless you have a generational talent like a Troy Polamalu, I don't even know why I mentioned him. Ed Reed, obviously, forget
See,
about
as
you know.
Alan in the chat affecting you.
It's that Minka Fitzpatrick comment that he left that got me thinking about Polamalu. He should be doing Perk Plus commercials or Head and Shoulders or whatever he does. Like, but anyway, unless you have a guy that's generational, Derwin James is a guy that's up there as well. And we mentioned Kyle Hamilton, but how long of a shelf life and how long of a prime are you going to get as a safety? I believe Marcus Williams is 28 years old. I think he's
Yeah.
28. Yeah,
So yeah. Yeah.
when you start creeping up on 30 and the hits pile up and the injuries pile up, sometimes that's just what it is. But also, I think some of it is mental. He just mentally has been beaten down, and maybe he has to get a fresh start somewhere and get his confidence back. But it's not going to be here in Baltimore. Our Darius Washington is our other safety now, and he's taking that spot over.
Yeah. What's going on, Tanja? Tanja says, "What's going on, Jose, Brodny, and guest? That guest is our guy AD. All right, from Press Start 410. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I think there's a little bit more going on because like he got suspended. One game. They wouldn't say why. Yeah, Marlon Humphrey kind of mention or hint at that maybe it was an attitude thing because he didn't say directly at Marcus Williams, but he mentioned you know certain players buying into the system and all that stuff, right? They play better when everybody's buying in. So I can't remember the exact quote, but to me that sounded like he was taking a shot at Marcus Williams. Maybe Marcus Williams wasn't on the same page um, with Zach or what's going on. Like you said, I think it's a mental thing. You get beat a few times, and that's not a ability thing. That's just you playing out of position. That's just you not understanding, you know, uh, your assignments, right? Seemingly, you know. So yeah, if you're not working on that, you're not trying to, get better at that. You're not trying to take ownership. I can see why the team was sour on you, and maybe that's just not your fit there anymore. I don't think he's washed, is what I'm saying. I just don't think he's going to fit in Baltimore anymore. So, all right, so we're all in agreement. Even the Steelers fan in the chat thinks the Ravens are going to win. Now we just got to play the game. All right, because all this could, Ravens could go Ravens, and Steelers, Mike Tomlin could go Mike Tomlin, and they could pull off the upset. That's a possibility too. But I feel like this is the year Lamar rises above it, and we got subscription, but I can't see that be.
I can't see it either. Hold on.
Our chat bot will tell us. And thank you whoever subscribed. But I think Lamar is he every year he takes his game up to the next level. Derrick Henry, I mean, he's focused on Super Bowl, nothing else. They're going to make sure that they do everything that they need to do on their end to lock in and win these games. So I feel good going to any of these games.
Now, I did have a question, something that I would ask if I was actively in the chat right now. Do you guys feel like either coach should be coaching for their job right now? Because I've been hearing a lot of rumbling about Tomlin isn't the guy in Pittsburgh anymore, or he shouldn't be the guy. And you know how I feel about Harbaugh. I want Harbaugh gone yesterday, last year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. But if he wins the Super Bowl, he can stay for another season.
All right. Okay, because I actually spoke to Alan about this at work the other day. I think Tomlin and Harbaugh's situations are not, at first I said slightly different. They're not slightly different. They're way different, right? You can easily look at both of them and say, hey, they've been there for a long time. This act is getting kind of old. Tomlin, he keeps bringing in these coordinators that aren't good. Matt Canada, Arthur Smith, right? These are terrible offensive coordinators. We're running the same predictable plays. And we're doing enough to have a winning season, but we're not doing enough to actually win. We need a change. However, you haven't given him a great quarterback to work with. Really not a particularly good quarterback. I mean, this year you did with Russell Wilson, and you played a lot better than you've played in the last however many years. He has never worked with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Let's get that straight. Even when he came in the league and he was coaching Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is not Lamar Jackson, right? Great quarterback, obviously, and they had a lot of great times. They went to 2 Super Bowls. They won one, obviously, some good times there. But they let Ben Roethlisberger stay there way past his prime. They never tried to go and find his replacement. Even when he retired, you didn't leave him with anything. Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, you drafted Kenny Pickett. That's not really trying. Russell Wilson isn't really trying either. You just decided to get a little bit better. But I think if you get him a quarterback that he feels comfortable with, he'll open up the playbook. But when you have somebody like Russell Wilson, he played better last year in Denver than his first year, but he looked like he was, on his way out. And you're bringing him here, and it's between him and Justin Fields, who's trying to get his career started. Yeah, you're not going to do anything too exotic. You're going to keep the plays basic and safe and rely on your defense to win the games, and you've been winning. So, no, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm not changing what's been working for me based off the talent that I have. Give me better talent, and I'll do more out there. But the way Russ is playing now, what do you want him to do with that? You want Russ to cook down the field? You want him to throw it all the way down, all over the place, throwing the way he's throwing?
Nope. Yeah, Jose. But what's there to say about people keep bringing up the wide receivers that have gone diva under Tomlin? Obviously, we got Pickens right now. Before you had Antonio Brown. I think somebody even brought up Emmanuel Sanders, but they definitely brought up just a litany of receivers that they feel like he hasn't been able to control or corral for whatever reason.
Well, I think that's a little bit silly. I mean, George Pickens has been a diva. Everybody knows that. He was a diva in college. He's a crazy guy. And to say that you haven't been able to corral him, nobody knew Antonio Brown was a head case for 8 years. Antonio Brown put together one of the best careers in the history of football at that position without anybody knowing that he was Mr. Big Chest, and all this stuff. So he's done a great job, corralling Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. It fell apart towards the end,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it had a long run. But I think that part of the thing in Pittsburgh is why they're so why they so easily restock at wide receiver position, because they don't care about the attitude of the receivers.
Yeah.
And teams get scared off by that kind of off the field stuff or that diva stuff if they don't.
Yeah, I'd rather have guys that I know will turn out to be head cases and divas and whatnot, but can ball out for a few years, than not have them at all. Right? Harbaugh's like, oh, you got talent, you're young, you want the ball, not coming over here. Mm-hmm. Right? Like he won't. And we damn sure ain't going to develop them. Right? So we got a little lucky with Zay Flowers. That's after a few times of drafting in the first round. But we don't typically hit at that position. We don't really develop them that well over here. In Pittsburgh, they can get them in any round and make them stars, it seems like. And George Pickens, I don't think is gonna stay there much longer, but they will get somebody else.
Yeah, and I got into an argument with somebody a long time ago, Panthers fan, on the Panthers message board. It was a similar thing, right? About how the Panthers had taken Randy Moss off of their draft board, their previous owner, Jerry Richardson. And, I said that was a ridiculous thing to do. They should have drafted Randy Moss. And the argument back was, oh, well, you see how it ended in Minnesota, right? It went bad. Like, yeah, it went bad after he scored 97 touchdowns in Minnesota. I don't care if it ends bad. Everything ends bad. Like, I want the 97 touchdowns. You know who else? It ended bad with Dwayne Jarrett. It ended bad with Kelvin Benjamin. It ended bad with Devin Funchess, right? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
But we didn't get 97 touchdowns out of all of them combined.
What about Ray Caruth? How did that end?
I mean, it ended pretty bad. And about as bad as Ray Rice over there in Baltimore, and the alleged ending for Ray Lewis. But we won't go into that.
But I said this before. There's no worse red flag than you can't play.
Yeah.
Right. Attitude and all that stuff, diva. Guys can mature out of that. They can grow out of that. Or you can keep it in check long enough to win games with them. If a guy can't play, then he can't play. You can't fix that. All right. I don't care if he's got moxie. I don't care if he's, he says all the right things and great attitude, positive attitude, brings his lunch pail to work. That guy can't play. You can't play. What's Pay the Bill say? It says it ended fat. With Benjamin.
Yeah, true.
Now if Harbaugh, and of course Harbaugh won't lose this game if the Ravens lose, he won't lose it by himself. The whole team will lose. But Harbaugh will be 2-5 in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson, a transformational, generational quarterback at the helm since 2019. And a lot of people, I think rightfully so, will call for his head if he doesn't get out of this round at the very least. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like that's warranted? If we don't win this game, should Harbaugh be on the hot seat or should he be out?
If they lose on Saturday, he should be fired the same way they fired Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce and that. Like, they fired Gerard Mayo before the games were even done on Sunday.
Right.
And it should be the exact same thing for John Harbaugh if they lose to Pittsburgh.
There you
go. There's no excuse. Like, we can talk about Lamar, and Lamar had said that he gets antsy. He's been getting excited before playoff games. He thinks that's affected him, and he thinks he's got a handle on it now, and having more experience will thing. But like you said, he's the best player in football. If you can't figure out how to win playoff games with him, you're not a head coach in the NFL.
And I don't agree with this. Alan says it depends on how Lamar plays too. Nah, because you're the coach, right? If your quarterback is struggling, you give him some help. When the Colts won a Super Bowl, Peyton Manning didn't play well, right? The defense had to carry him a little bit, right? sometimes if your quarterback is struggling, it's not always on him to do everything. It's been that way since he's been here, but that's a sign of bad coaching. Sometimes the coach got to take the pressure off of him until he finds his rhythm. Um, Especially against a team that's struggling, you got to be able to say, "Hey, you're not having your best game. Don't worry about it. We're gonna keep them out the end zone. We'll keep it simple. You find your rhythm. You find your rhythm. We'll come out of here and then we'll get better next week." That's what he needs to do as a coach. That's Tom has been doing that for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all Tom has been doing for like 2/3 of his career is find ways to win in spite of his quarterback. It's time for Harbaugh to. I'm not. He's not going to win in spite of his quarterback. He's going to win because of his quarterback. But it's time for Harbaugh to be complimentary to his soon-to-be 3-time MVP quarterback. That's crazy to say.
And this one stat that I picked up on, actually a couple, which are a huge indictment on the coaching staff to me. Derrick Henry, less than 100 yards. The Ravens are 3-5 this season. So he's gone for over 109 games, 9-0 in the games that he's gone over 100. Also, if Lamar Jackson has a passer rating under 100, the Ravens are 1-5 on the season. So it just lets you know, if the offense ain't bringing it, and that's whether it's Lamar or DH, if one of them is off of that game, we don't know how to win a football game any other way.
Yeah. Yep. Michelle D, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. She says, we have to play well and get to the Super Bowl and lose fairly for people not to go crazy if we don't win the chip. No, I think if we don't win, because the thing about Lamar Jackson is, I'm gonna be honest with you, Michelle. It doesn't matter if he wins; they're still going to criticize him. All right, like that they're going to keep moving that goalpost because Lamar Jackson is easy to talk about. He's a hot topic. He gets you clicks. And if this was Lamar's third Super Bowl in a row that he was going for, like Pat Mahomes, they would find something to poke holes in about his game. Because if you talk about Lamar Jackson, people are going to click on it. That's just what it is, right? That's why this whole thing of, oh well, Josh Allen actually is the front runner for MVP. That's just to get you guys talking about it. They all know Josh Allen isn't really on that level this year. He's had a great year, but Lamar has had a better year. No matter how you want to measure it, the only thing you can say about Josh Allen is, oh well, without him, the team falls apart. Yeah, look at Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, look at Baltimore. Yeah, you got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's had his best career in terms of yards per carry ever. He said it the other day. He was like, any running back's going to look good playing with Lamar. That's what he said. All right. So, don't worry about what people say. They're always going to talk about Lamar. Win or lose, they're going to talk about him. And here's another Steelers fan. What's going on, Shug? He says, even though everything is burning around me, still here to say I can't wait till Saturday. Hey, salute to Shug. Hey, everybody give a shout out to Shug, man. He's down there in LA, man. We got the fires going on over there. Stay safe, man. Stay safe.
Yes.
All right. We went a little long on that, but that's okay. We want to talk about another diva wide receiver. But first, patreon.com/LBHT Show. I meant to put the ad up. I didn't load it. If you guys watched the pre-recorded show, we had 2 ads on there. I meant to load it up on here so we can have a word from our sponsors. But patreon.com/LBHT Show. Okay, sign up for as little as $5 a month. You get access to the Overtime Show and our Discord. The Overtime Show, we talk about all kinds of topics. You guys were asking about the FS1 drama early on. We're going to talk about that probably in 30 minutes. Okay, as soon as this show is over, we're going to go over to the Overtime Show and we're going to break that whole thing down, give our thoughts on it. Come check it out. All right, we're going to have some other topics to discuss as well. So if you got $5 in your pocket, and I know you do, all right, don't order Grubhub, DoorDash. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're wasting your money. Okay, it's not affordable anymore. You pay $15 in fees. All right, when you get your food, it's cold. Just drive there. I know it's cold outside. You drive, go get your food. Say the $15. You can sign up for 3 months. 3 months of Patreon. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's where you want to go next. Okay. All right. There's another diva wide receiver. Tyreek Hill. He wants out from the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, Adrian and B, because I would say both of our teams are in the market for wide receiver. For that caliber of wide receiver for sure.
Well, one of our teams is anyway.
Well, I didn't say we're going to get it. I'm saying we could use that
No,
caliber.
no, you could use them, but you said in the market. They're never in the market for that caliber of player.
Okay, all right, whatever. All right, Mr. Semantics over there.
Sorry,
all
I like to be clear.
Okay, how do you feel? How do you feel about Tyreek Hill in Carolina? And then me and Adrian will talk about him in Baltimore.
In Carolina, don't like it, but I do love that he wants out of Miami. Same thing with George Pickens. I don't like George Pickens in Carolina, but I do love that he could possibly be out of Pittsburgh. And I love it because it just, it brings down the prices, right? For Carolina, I think it's T. Higgins. Obviously there's some interest there with Garrett Wilson as well. And
that's who it was. Garrett Wilson tweeted about Bryce Young the other day.
Yeah, he did. He loves Bryce Young. Biggest fan in the world. And if there are multiple wide receivers of that caliber available, then it could, in theory, bring down the price on some of those other guys. I do not love Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill he's a bad person, and he's also a guy who can't stay happy on the field. So you combine those two things, and it's like, for what? Bring him in for what? He's just going to have that exact same press conference in a year or two. In Carolina or wherever he's at. George Pickens, very talented, but he's a bit entitled. He feels like he's accomplished more than he has, and he deserves more than he's earned. So no, thank you. I'll pass on that as well, and focus on T. Higgins and possibly Garrett Wilson.
I like Garrett Wilson for you guys, man. I like that he tweeted about Bryce Young too. The Panthers, we're going to do a video on the Panthers. The Panthers are really trending up. There's a lot of things they can do this offseason to really step up their level of competition. But Adrian, how would you feel about Tyreek Hill in Baltimore?
He's not a fit at all in Baltimore. I love his game. Tyreek Hill, you talking about a 4'1", 40, one of the fastest men in the world, cheetah, Super Bowl champion, great player. Potentially a Hall of Fame type wide receiver. I think he needs to put it together a few more seasons for that to come to fruition. But in Baltimore, you're not going to get the targets here, man. It's not your team. It's Lamar's team. And then after that, on offense, it's Derrick Henry. And then after that, what is it, Zay? Is it Mark? Maybe it's Isaiah Likely. Where do you fall in the pantheon of players in that hierarchy? If you come here, Tyreek, you might be fifth or sixth on offense.
You fall number one because you're better than all of them combined. I would trade all those players you mentioned for Tyreek Hill. Okay, I would trade all of them. Zay, Mark, Likely. I would trade Bateman. I would package all of them and say, here, take them and give me Tyreek. I will run with Derrick Henry and Tyreek and whoever else you want to fill up that slot with. Okay, Tyreek Hill is on a whole nother level. See, you fall into that trap, Adrian. You fall into that trap that Baltimore fans trap. But we like our guys. Okay,
we like our guys, man. I don't feel like we need him. We don't need
a player like him. Not saying we need him, but a player like Tyreek fits in every system. He is a playmaker. That's something you can't teach. That's something you can't coach. He can make it happen. Lamar will get him the ball, right? Same thing with Derrick Henry, right? I didn't think he's going to get this many carries, but guess what? When you have a star player like that, it forces you to give him the ball because anytime he doesn't get the ball, what do we say? Why didn't Derrick Henry get the ball this game, right? When you have a player like Tyreek Hill, you can't go a game without giving him the ball and don't let it be a loss because then people are going to say, well, He's out there. Why aren't we throwing him the ball? Why are we getting more passes to him? Star players demand the ball. They don't have to say it. Like their status warrants that. We get Justin Jefferson here. Justin Jefferson fits in any system, right? Same thing. You obviously get him the ball. He's going to get his stats. I mean, he's getting it with Sam Darnold right now. You know, like those players fit anywhere, and you can't sit there and say you can't be comfortable. I should say you can't be comfortable with with what we have and say, well, they're good enough. Yeah, they're good enough. We could win with them. I think we are going to win with them, but get better. You know what I mean? If you can get better, get better. I'm not saying we have to trade all those guys. I don't even think we're going to get Tyreek Hill, but that's the type of player I want Lamar to have. He's going for his third MVP, and he's never played with that caliber of a wide receiver. He deserves that.
I see him going to replace T. Higgins in Cincinnati, or
Oh,
going out there to replace Amari Cooper / Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. I mean, I could see him going to those places.
I
But
would hate that.
I
I would
mean,
hate it.
I don't. He's not coming to Baltimore. We got Ed DeCosta, Ed General Manager. He shops
Yep.
at Temu. He shops at Target. He shops at Walmart. He doesn't shop at Saks Fifth. That's what Tyreek Hill is. He's Saks Fifth. He's Gucci. He's a high end $30 million Ferrari per year. Are you going to pay a wide receiver $30 million who is a diva if he doesn't get the football, who wanted away from Patrick Mahomes because he couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes or he couldn't beat Travis Kelce? Like he could have
Do you
won
think?
three, four championships in Kansas City if he just stayed, but
Do
he wanted out.
well, they didn't want to pay him, right?
He wanted a bit more than they offered him, and he got it in Miami. I don't think he had any problem with Pat or Kelsey or his place there, but he wanted to get the a
And
little extra money.
So he
and,
went
and
he went for the money and he got the money and he didn't get the
yeah,
wins.
well,
He didn't get
that's
the
not
chip.
that's not a bad attitude. That's a good attitude. This is a business, right? When front offices do business moves and they don't think about winning, then we praise them for it, right? You just said how cheap Eric DaCosta is. That's not about winning. That's just him being cheap, right? And we praise him for that. When a player does that, then it's a problem. I would leave for an extra 500K. After taxes. All right. Yes, it wouldn't take much for me to leave if well, I mean, it'd be a lot for me. I don't care how many millions I make. That's 500K is still 500K. A million is still a million. So if you don't want to pay it and somebody else will, hey, it's a business.
You saw the
But
press conference though. Like he's complaining about not winning. Like, bro, you chose your
yeah,
fate. You chose the money over
yeah,
winning.
and
And now you're
well,
not winning and you got the money.
Well, he didn't choose it over winning. He had already won.
yeah, it's not. Why does everything have to be etched out in stone for a player? Right? We're just talking about how Marcus Williams is going to get cut. Did we not commit to Marcus Williams long term? Why are we cutting him? Right? Because we want to win. Because we want better. Right? But you chose your fate. You chose Marcus Williams. Keep him out there. Right? No, it doesn't work that way. It works both ways. Like, all right, when we got to Miami, it looked promising. I got my money and we could win. But now it doesn't look like we can win, and I would like to leave. I'm cool with that. If you can force a trade, force a trade. I don't think any of those players or even the coach would say that they had a problem with Tyreek Hill in the locker room.
Keelan, are you joking? Saying that
What's up,
Tyreek's
Keelan?
too small? That you're just trolling, right?
He's definitely trolling. Gotta be. And I would never talk about Tyree Hill ability as a wide receiver. He's still a preeminent wide receiver in the league. I
He's
still think he's top
he's
five in the
bigger than
league.
Zay.
Well, he's stronger than Zay. He's more physical.
Oh yeah, no question. Yeah.
I don't know how much bigger. Maybe he's like 10 pounds bigger than him. He's 190 pounds, right? 5'10". It's not a huge guy, but he never had to be huge. Steve Smith was a smaller guy, but he played big. Tyreek Hill plays, bigger than he is because he's faster than everybody. He just runs 5 yards beyond the DBs. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're 6'10". Defending him, he's 5 yards past you.
Yeah, good. We could put that 70 million towards Tyreek. I mean, that'd have been a down payment. I think he's getting like 30 mil a year. But yes, I agree. Um, I don't have a problem with him saying, "Hey, yeah, I would like to go somewhere else." You know, do we? I mean, let me ask you this: do you think getting Tyreek Hill would hurt the team?
No. I think that we would have to make some concessions somewhere. Like
Hmm.
somebody's not getting paid to get Tyreek Hill. Ronnie
Yeah,
Stanley got for a contract. Roquan got that big deal not too long ago. Matabike got that big deal. Somebody's going to have to restructure, renegotiate a contract for his salary to even fit with the team, based on where the cap is. But does it hurt the team? I think there are enough leaders on the Ravens to where they can handle a Tyreek Hill, and he really wasn't. I might be a little bit too harsh. He really wasn't too big of a problem in Miami. Until things started going south. But you can't expect a guy to be on his absolute best behavior if he's not winning. So I get that. And in Baltimore, he would be winning. We win
hmm,
every season, at least in the regular season.
yeah.
Our haters tell it. So you know, bottom line is, I think Tyreek Hill would be a great addition here, and maybe I'm just saying no because I know that we're not going to do anything to get him.
Yeah, you're protect. Listen, you're protecting your heart, Adrian, and I got you.
It's a
There's
coping
nothing wrong with that.
mechanism.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Yeah, and Daniel Franklin said it. Hashtag defund the defense, and that's why I was going to go with it. You mentioned Roquan, you mentioned Matabike. All these guys I think are great, but given what the defense did this year, and this is what me and B have been saying, man, like don't invest in the defense over the offense.
Keelan, y'all gotta stop this, man. Tyreek is 5'8" without shoes on and weighs like 195. He's bigger than Zay, but the Ravens need a receiver that can win jump balls and 50-50 catches now. Garrett
You
Wilson can do everything. Before this season, where obviously Tua was out quite a bit, and Tyreek had 959 yards and 6 touchdowns. The previous 2 seasons, he was over 1,700 yards. It does not matter how tall he is at all. Y'all
I
have got to
mean,
stop this obsession with height. The best receiver you've ever seen play for Baltimore was the same size as Tyreek Hill.
all right, from 2020 up until now, right? 1,276 yards, 15 touchdowns. 1,239 yards, 9 touchdowns. 1,710 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is in Miami. 1,799 yards, 13 touchdowns. That was last year. This year, 959 yards, 6 touchdowns. Right, and that's after Tua went out. Zay Flowers is never going to hit that.
Yeah, probably not. Very
He's
unlikely.
he's never going. And I think Zay Flowers. I think he could be. I mean, he's already one of the better wide receivers in the league. Zay Flowers ain't gonna put up those type of numbers, bro. And yes, we don't. You can say we don't pass as much here in Baltimore. Tyreek Hill can do more with less, though.
Yeah, he's a
Right?
guy that you can throw like 2 yard screen pass that could go 75 yards to the house. And Zay has some of that ability. He's a Tyreek Hill light, but Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. It's only one Tyreek Hill in the NFL. Like, don't discount that man.
900 yards is pathetic. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I mean, Tua missed most of the season. Did he not? He was playing with Tyler Huntley. Like, come
Hold
on
on.
now.
900 yards is pathetic. What about 756 yards and 9 touchdowns?
That's Rashard Bateman, right?
That's Rashad Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
That's not pathetic. That's
Right.
good wide receiver two number.
In a pathetic year for Tyreek Hill, he's still way better than Rashad Bateman. You know, um, and this is all hypothetical. We all know that they're probably not going to make that move. But these are the type of moves that you can't keep making excuses as to why you don't want a star player here, is what I'm saying. Right? Because we always do that in Baltimore. We always say, well, we can't get that guy, it won't work out. Oh, he's too short. Oh, he's a diva. Oh, he's gonna cost too much money. It's always that. Hey, guess what? Marcus Williams is a little bit of diva. We had to suspend him a game. And he can't play anymore. And we're paying him $70 million. Hey, you guys were criticizing Matabike all year, saying he isn't worth the money we've been paying him. We just paid him. Hey, Roquan Smith looked like he was out of shape at the beginning of the year. We just paid him too. That's a lot of money on that defense.
You know what's really fun about this, and this happens a lot. Uh, you know, here with the audience. Last season, towards the end of the year, when we were saying yo, go get Derrick Henry, go get Derrick Henry, go get Derrick Henry, go get Derrick Henry. All y'all said we don't need him. We don't need him.
You did say that.
We don't need him. We got
Not,
Gus and JK.
maybe not is the exact same people that we're talking to now, but
yes. But yes, we don't need him. We don't need him. We don't need him. And now y'all love having a player like Derrick Henry on your team.
Yeah, right? But we only got him because he was on discount. You know,
I know.
like what was
that's the other thing we argued.
$8 million a year, right?
Yeah. We argued get Saquon over Derrick Henry, and people are like, "You're crazy."
Saquon costs more money. That's why we didn't get him.
And attitude pop, it's a little different, a little difficult to argue that Zay Flowers can get 1,100 yards a year when he has not reached 1,100 yards in a season yet.
Well, he would have got 1,100 last week if he didn't go out in the second quarter. I think he would have got.
Yeah. He's had he's had a good year. He's had a good year. So don't get me wrong. I'm not.
Keelan, who was mid? Are you talking about Steve Smith was mid?
No,
sir.
He's talking about Zay.
No, because he's talking about, because I said that that Tyreek is it doesn't matter how tall he is, and I said the best receiver you've ever seen was Steve Smith in Baltimore.
He said Steve was mid.
You can't be saying Steve Smith was mid in Baltimore.
You better ice up, son.
Yeah. Like y'all, man, Ravens fans like that. Wow, it is a powerful thing that cope. It really, really is.
He said Steve Smith was mid. Man,
I hope that's not what he was saying.
You talking about not his career? You just talking about Baltimore? His first year in Baltimore, 1,065 yards, 6 touchdowns. After that, he played 7 games in the second season. He still got 670 yards, 3 touchdowns. Played 14 games the following season, 799 yards, 5 touchdowns.
He was not mid in any way in Baltimore.
And if you think that's mid, cool. What wide receiver do you want to get that won't be mid? Now, Garrett Wilson, I like Garrett Wilson. I heard you mention Garrett Wilson. And if he's available, sure.
This is my favorite, and not to pick on you at all, Keelan, because I know what you're saying, and I agree with you about Tyreek going after Garrett rather than Tyreek, or T. Higgins rather than Tyreek, because he is over 30 now and all that stuff. But this is my favorite thing with fans. My favorite thing. I love it so much. He's not even the same level of player, but Garrett Wilson in the future. I would trade Bateman and a third to the Jets right after the season to get Garrett. Yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would give him a number 3 and a 3rd round pick for a future potential Hall of Fame receiver. I bet you would, Keelan.
I think the asking price for Garrett Wilson is going to be a little bit higher than Rashad in the 3rd. It's a easy wincy bit higher than that.
Or if the Ravens end up trading for Tyreek Hill for said price, Bateman in the 3rd, and Miami is willing to eat half his salary, everybody will love that move then.
Guess what? I'd give him Xavier Legette in the 4th right now. I wouldn't even wait till the end of the play. I'd give him that today.
Let's give him
the cash right in his hands.
Let's give him Rashard Perryman and a player to be named later. You know what? I'm generous. I'll throw in Thielen. You should throw in Coker too. Just throw in the whole wide receiver core.
You know what, Adrian? You're right. No need to be stingy. I'll throw in Jalen Coker too.
All 3 of them for Tyreek. Why not?
And a 4th.
Yeah, but but the point is, we got to stop being afraid of getting star players, right? Because like we said, like BB have been doing this for about 4 years. Early on, people argued that Gus Edwards was a top 5 running back, and we didn't need to upgrade running back. Just last year, nobody wanted to trade for not just Derrick Henry. We said, hey, go and try to get Saquon. Go and try to get Josh Jacobs was on the trading block. We didn't want to give up a second round for Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is doing pretty good as well, right? Any of those guys could have helped us in the playoffs last year, right? And we went and got Derrick Henry now, and everybody's happy with it because, well, one, he's playing great, but they were cool with it at the time because he wasn't getting paid that much. We've been conditioned to think that players on the offensive side need to come cheap. Otherwise, they're not worth it. But we just saw a whole bunch of our money on the defensive side damn near tank the season.
Keelan, you can say that Steve Smith was a dog and all this stuff, and Tyreek isn't. Steve Smith played 78 more games than Tyreek is at right now, and he has about 3,500 more yards and fewer touchdowns. Tyreek is a better player than Steve Smith. Period.
You can keep that dog. Okay, you can keep that. I want that talent. I want a guy that can throw up a peace. When you're 10 yards ahead of him, you got the angle on him. He throws up the peace sign at you because he's going to run right by you. I want that guy.
I mean, the man challenged Usain Bolt to a 40-yard race. Like, who in the NFL would have the gumption to do that? He's the fastest dude in the league, and he's 30 years old. He's still the fastest dude in the NFL right now. If you line him up with Xavier Worthy right now, I think that he probably does him still.
Wow, 30?
At 30, I don't know
if he gets Xavier.
I think he gets Xavier right now. That's just my opinion. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. I've long said that's what they need to be doing at the Pro Bowl instead of playing that fake game. Get some skills competition, get some 40-yard dash competition. I'll watch that every time.
Definitely.
You know,
right,
and not even just Xavier and Tyreek. I'll watch offensive linemen do the 40. I don't care. Let's make it a race.
Yeah. All right, over 100 people in here, man. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit that subscribe button. LBHTShow.com is up. Okay, we redesigned it a little bit. We got some newer merch on there. We're gonna add some more things on there. All right, so you need a little beanie because it's cold out there. We got some nice beanies. We got some hoodies. We got all kinds of stuff. LBHTShow.com. You can also find our latest episodes on there as well. It'll link you right back to YouTube. But it's a one-stop shop. All right. And you can sign up for our upcoming newsletter. I know you guys have been waiting. I know. Just sign up, get on a waiting list. All right. It'll be worth the wait. Okay. LBHTShow.com. All right. Check it out. All right. We want to do court of public opinion.
Well, we had something else to talk about first in the NFL.
Okay.
And that is the coach firings.
Yes.
There are, I believe, now 6 openings after Antonio Pierce was fired in Las Vegas. We were going to do another video just kind of ranking the openings, but I think the main takeaway right now from some of these coach firings, particularly Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce, is that the NFL has not learned its lesson with minority coaches. And I think, that it's just a bit of arrogance and not really wanting to learn the lesson. But both of those guys were hired without any intention of them being there longer than a year. You look at Gerard Mayo, who was hired to a team who won 4 games, and they kind of came back with a rookie quarterback and not a whole lot of talent on the team. There's a few pieces here and there, but you gave him essentially a roster that could win 3 or 4 games, and he won 4 games, right?
Yeah.
You feel like you found your quarterback, and if you thought Gerard Mayo was the guy, he should be leading you into next season when you have $130 million in cap room and you can actually build around that rookie quarterback and try and turn things around, right? But instead, you fired him immediately, and then you leaked out that you never really thought he was the guy to begin with, and you just, essentially gave him the opportunity because he'd been a Patriot for a long time. Same thing with Antonio Pierce. He comes in. Now, full disclosure, I didn't think they should have hired Antonio Pierce. I didn't think he was going to be a good head coach, but he was the interim coach. He won some games. The players loved him, and you decided to hire him.
He beat us.
At which point you got rid of Josh Jacobs. You traded Devontae Adams, and you gave him Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew as his quarterbacks. What was he supposed to do with that?
Right. Yeah, that's what I don't like. And not only did you not give these guys a fair shake, they're not going to get another opportunity. And they're both given quarterbacks that they're either not good, they're not ready to play. And, you're not making a fair assessment. I think Antonio Pierce, I don't think he did a bad job. I think he made the team competitive as they can be. He needed more talent than what he got. And you just hired him as a placeholder so you can get the coach that you want. Same thing with the Patriots. We all know that they're going to hire Mike Vrabel. They did their 2 token interviews with Byron Leftwich and who was the other coach the interview? I forget.
God, I forget.
But they did. They, you
The
know,
hilarious thing about the Mike Vrabel thing is he was available last offseason and you didn't hire him.
yeah, right. You know, so well because the team is bad, and let's find a quarterback and go through a rebuilding phase and see who we can keep and where we can add things, and then you can take over the team. Right now, I'll say this: I know the Patriots. There's a lot of foreign players that they are loyal to the organization and they swear by Robert Kraft and all them. Maybe it's a situation where they told Mayo, "Hey, look, it's a 1 year thing, right? We're gonna give you a 5 year contract, but just coach a year and then take the rest of the money, and you can come back and work in the organization, on TV, media, whatever, or we can put in the work for you somewhere else. But do us a solid and just do a year here until Rabel's ready, and maybe if he's on board with that's kind of the Art Shell treatment, right? That's what Al Davis did with Art Shell, right? Art Shell understood, like this isn't a long term thing. I'm just here, short term, helping out Al, and then I'll go back and chill. If it's that type of situation, then cool. But if I'm Draw Mayo, I wouldn't take that deal. And,
Yeah, and I don't think he did. I think that he thought he was getting a legit shot to be the next coach of the New England Patriots, and he was going to get a chance to build around Drake May with all that cap room. And Kraft said, "No, never mind, get out. We just didn't want Mike Vrabel, like Cool Kingston is saying in the chat. They didn't want Mike Vrabel to have that terrible season on his record. So you got that out the way, and now we're going to be picking third or fourth or whatever it is. We'll go get Travis Hunter or McMillan for Drake May to throw to, and it'll look like Mike Vrabel turned us around."
Yeah, I mean, it was a DEI hire, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Wanted to prove to people that you will hire a minority coach, a minority candidate, but will that guy get the same shake? Because I'm looking at somebody like Dayball in New York. How is he still the head coach of the Giants after I can't even say what I want to say right now, but look at the season that they had, and them just messing up the whole Saquon Barkley situation and choosing Daniel Jones, choosing to pay him $40 million a year, and the only thing positive about that season was Malik Neighbors looks incredible. He looks like a great wide receiver, but the Giants are terrible. Dayball should be out there. So many head coaches in the league that are of the fairer complexion that somehow still have jobs after Black Monday. And then the black guys, it's thanks for coming, thanks for playing. See you later.
but
Maybe you'll get another shot.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second because Michelle's as asking a question directed at you, Adrian. It says, so you're saying Antonio Pierce wasn't qualified? That's not what. So when you hear DEI hire, like that's become a meme, or it's become a dog whistle. When somebody says you're a DEI hire, that's usually what racists say when they see a person of color or a black person in a position that they don't want them in. But the reality is, DEI just replaced um,
Affirmative action.
affirmative action. That's it's the same thing. And what that is it's supposed to give people of color, black people in particular, opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise get because of discrimination, right? So calling somebody a DEI hire, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Adrian. When you call these guys a DEI hire, you're saying they got the jobs because they were black. Not saying that they weren't qualified, but the NFL has been scrutinized for they're being sued currently, right? They're under a litigation right now because of that situation, and this is one of those things where they're saying, hey, we're going to hire black coaches to cover ourselves. They could be qualified, but they're not given the opportunity to really show what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the NFL, and somebody might be upset at me for saying this, but the structure is like a plantation. Everybody at the top is white, everybody in the field is black. um, why can't players have coaches that they can relate to? And it's not even just about them being black, but sometimes you might need a player, a guy that's been in a league that has climbed the ranks, somebody that has been in those same locker rooms, in those same trenches that come up. And it seems like a lot of the white guys, like McDaniels, he ain't played football. I'm not saying you can't be qualified to be a head coach if you didn't play in the NFL, but every black guy that's a head coach, if you look at him, is going to be somebody that played at the
A former
NFL
player.
level. A white guy could be a guy that, oh, he was just this assistant that was in the video room at Michigan under Harbaugh, and then he worked his way up the ranks, and now he's making $12 million a year, and he's the head coach of the Seahawks. And it's just not right that our guys have only one path to be able to become a head coach, and then when they do get that opportunity, they get 1 year. Antonio Pierce, he didn't do a great job in Vegas, but it's like you said, Brodny. What did he have to work with? He had Aiden O'Connell. He had Gardner Minshew. He didn't have a starting quarterback. How are you going to win in the league without a starting quarterback? You give Gerard Mayo a rookie and Drake May, and you give him the ghosted Jacoby Brissett. How many games is he supposed to win? And then you get mad that he wins the last game of the season. I know that's why they fired him the last day of the season, is because they went from having the number 1 overall pick if they lost that game to number 4. And he was somebody that got the team to play for something, even though they had absolutely nothing to play for. And I know that upset ownership, that upset the front office, because they normally wait until Monday to find out that he was fired while games were still going on Sunday. I'd never seen that in my entire life watching football. And I feel like a white coach would not have been disrespected to that degree. So you can't even wait until Black Monday. You got 24 hours. How hard is it to wait a day to fire him, as tradition always dictates?
Yeah, like you said, I think it was he was getting fired regardless, but he got fired right then because they got angry that they lost that number 1 pick, and then put out a statement. Oh, this was the hardest decision we ever had to make. It didn't seem that hard, man. You made it in 15 minutes,
Right
after the game was over. It
All
seemed
right,
pretty
so,
easy.
I want to speed through the. Do you want? Let's do a quick court of public opinion and submitted questions, and let's get up out of here. Let's get to the overtime show, because we still have a lot to discuss. All right, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Come and check out the overtime show. All right, highly encourage you to come over there, and we're gonna have a few discussions. We continue this discussion. I want to talk a little bit about Todd Monken too. We didn't get a chance to talk about Todd Monken. Possibly getting some interviews. All right, we're gonna say that for the overtime show. All right, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Just $5. That's it. Check it out. It's well worth the price of admission. Or if you want to see it for free, because I think there's still some time, go over to our Christmas video, and there's a pin link in there, and there's a little gift. All right, it was for some free Patreon memberships for a month. That started on December 25th, so you have until January 25th to use it. They're good while they last. Okay, there's only a handful in there. Go to the Christmas episode, click the link, and you can get free membership that way. All right. All right, let's do it. Court of public opinion. All rise. Court is now in session. This is the first court of public opinion of 2025. What do we have, B?
Well, we have, I think, what is a pretty much a slam dunk case here. This one is the People versus Nick Sirianni, who nobody likes already. So it's not like we even got to convince people to go against Nicholas. But this is regarding the last game of the season, right? The Philadelphia Eagles, they're a good team. Pretty good team. They're 14-3. It seems like that's a better record than you would think if you just think Philadelphia Eagles, because their quarterback is a fraud. But 14 wins. It's a great year. Okay, you were in the mix for the 1 seed. You didn't quite get there, but great season nonetheless.
Yeah,
I don't think too many people look at the Philadelphia Eagles and say that's a legit Super Bowl contender. They're just not that kind of team, really. It kind of feels like, you don't competitive team, sure, not the best out there, maybe a second tier kind of team. But Nick Sirianni going into week 18 looked at Saquon Barkley, who had been disrespected by his previous team, the New York Giants, just kind of cast out in favor of Daniel Jones, and who has put the Eagles on his back, honestly. the entire season. He looked at this guy who is 100 yards short of the NFL rushing record, and he said to him, "No, you're not going to play. You're not going to break that record against your former team. You're going to sit down because we need to save you for the playoffs. What if you get hurt? What if, blah, blah, blah. What if you're fatigued? All this stuff. We need you out there next week."
Salute, Dre.
What's up, Dre? And so Saquon didn't play. Saquon didn't get the record. And Philly's going to go out there and lose in the first or second round. And then this team.
First round?
I said or second.
Wow.
And then this team will be forgotten forever. And hold on. Okay, what the case is, do you side with Nick Sirianni being the Grinch and looking at one of the best players in the league and denying him a place in NFL history? Or do you side with all of us decent people who know that was a jerk move and Saquon should have been out there breaking the record against the New York Giants?
All right. So while we make our case, go ahead and put the poll up now because we want to go rapid fire here. All right. Adrian, go ahead. I'll let you go. Oh, you're muted, Adrian. You got to mute yourself.
Oh, my bad. I ain't know I was muted. I ain't want to interrupt, so my fault. Nick Sirianni, whatever you say his name, however you say it. Guilty. You, sir, are a jerk. And you know what? You hate Christmas. You hate Saquon Barkley. You hate Santa Claus. You hate the people of Philadelphia. You hate the 215 area code. You hate everybody but Eric Dickerson. That's the only person that got love for you after what you did. How dare you deny a man the opportunity to break a 40-year-old record, 2,000 yards. He was on his way to at least 2,200 if you let him play the whole game. He was definitely going to break, what was the record, 2,105? I think that was the record. He was going to break that, man. And I understand you want to be healthy going into the playoffs. You want to give your team the best chance to win a Super Bowl. But like Brodny said, y'all not winning a Super Bowl regardless. So this was going to be all y'all had was a potential MVP. That's out the window because he don't have the record. And a potential all-time leading rusher in your midst in Saquon Barkley. And will he ever get this close again? Probably not. And what do you have to say for yourself, Sirianni? I wish you was here right now because you cannot defend it under any circumstances. You're a jerk. That was a terrible jerk move, and you're going to be fired soon anyway because coaches don't last that long in Philly unless you Andy Reid. So guilty is my verdict.
Yes, if you agree with Adrian that Nick Sirianni is the Grinch, he hates all things that bring joy and light and love into the world, #guilty. If you are like Nick Sirianni and you have a lump of coal where your heart should be, #not guilty.
All right, so I want Ravens fans, because people always get a little bit more objective when it's not their team involved, right? They get a little, they're a little more indifferent. I would say a little more indifferent, like whatever, they got to rush your guys, this and that. What if that were Derrick Henry? Because Derrick Henry wasn't that far off. What if this is Derrick Henry, and we lock up the division the week prior, and there's no reason to start anybody, but he is 105 yards short of the record? Would you want Harbaugh to sit Derrick Henry, or would you want him to play? Because most people will say, I won't say most, I think a lot of people will say, hey, don't risk getting hurt, right? Look what happened to Zay Flowers. He got hurt. Of course, there goes Buck. Buck saying not guilty, right? No #both play. Every week somebody does this. Follow the rules. It's #guilty or #not guilty. All right. You can't have it both ways. All right.
He's innocent.
Yeah. but you say, hey, don't risk injury. You gotta get ready for the playoffs because that's the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl. Not for individuals. The ultimate goal is greatness, right? And you have to recognize that. You have to recognize when a player is reaching greatness, and it reflects on the organization as well, in the city, right? It's not just about Saquon. It's about that team, right? It's about the organization. You know, you go down for something historic, and then you try to win a Super Bowl. You try to do all of it, right? If it's a game that you need to win, then he's out there playing, right? Or not even need to win. You want to win because what if they're trying to get the number one seed, right? They can win that game and win the number one seed. Will they be out there playing? Yeah, of course, because they want home field advantage. You don't need home field advantage. You're in the playoffs. You don't need that, right? You can just rest your guys now, but you want home field advantage, right? Mm-hmm. It's important to you. This is important to Saquon. Despite what Saquon says, it's important to him. And these are the type of things that send messages down, you know, throughout the whole locker room. You already had issues in the locker room last year, right? This doesn't help. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't help. And like B said, if you go out there and lose in the playoffs, you know, they're going to be calling for your head. So if I'm Sirianni, I would be thinking about players first.
I mean, I see Goldman here making the argument that no, if it's for an incentive, then you let him play. If it's not, then sit him. Why is it okay to let him play if it's for a check? As opposed to the history.
The incentive is gold jacket. The incentive is a record.
Because I was going to say, like, the there is incentives involved here. If he's the all-time leading rusher, that leads to more money after he retires. We did a whole court of public opinion about Mark Gastineau going off on Brett Favre because Brett Favre gave away his sack record and cut his money short, right?
Yes.
But again, outside of that, like, you have to recognize, like you said, when players are going for things that just are not normal. That are not normal. That he's, like Adrian said, he's probably never going to have this chance again. Right. Yep. And this is something that immortalizes players. And you said, no, I think we're going to sit him because what if he gets hurt? Well, what if Dallas Goedert got hurt? You were playing him. What if Jordan Davis got hurt? You were playing him. What if any of those guys got hurt? But the fact is, he was going for something that is bigger than your season. But this is the NFL where they don't really want players to feel or think that way. They definitely don't want fans to feel that way. They want the team above everything else. But it's, you know, when players buy into that, they get screwed on the back end.
Yeah.
Right.
This would never happen in basketball. This would never be allowed in basketball. And as fans, you wouldn't want that either.
I just wish it had been AJ Brown because he wouldn't have stood for that. He would have been out there playing, or he would have been in that media demanding that he get the opportunity to start if he was trying to get Calvin Johnson's record or something like that.
And you know what? Speaking of wide receivers, that Mike Evans, right, just tied Jerry Rice's record. They made sure he went out there. I mean, they needed that game too, but you know, they made sure he went out there and got it. Imagine if they're like, no, you're gonna sit this week. Nah, bro, I'm playing. And if I'm Saquon is too nice. I've noticed this about him because it was the same thing when he was with the Giants. He should have never gone back and played for them on that. What did they tagged him? You know, he played on that franchise tag. I would have sat out. Right, he ended up getting hurt too. But he should have said, "Hey, guess what, Nick? I'm playing."
Michelle's saying, I think he could have done it if he wanted to, and Sirianni would have been fine with it. Like, maybe if he really pushed for it. But I mean, he did an interview in the locker room where he said that, you know, he sat down with Nick and, you know, they discussed it. They discussed his feelings on it, and then later on, Nick told him, "No, you're not playing." And, you know, I obviously I'm not in Saquon's head, but the way he was reacting in that interview, it looked pretty clear to me that he wanted to play, and that Nick just told him no.
Yeah, I just feel like they don't got the right leaders. They got a quarterback that don't say nothing. AJ Brown just chumps him every chance he gets. Jalen's supposed to be up in there vouching for his boy. Like, let my boy break this record, man. Like, put him in there. And you know the O-line's supposed to back them up. The D-line, the secondary, the receivers, everybody should be backing Saquon up and say, look, he's had a special season. He's been the preeminent reason why we even have 14 wins. Give him the opportunity to break a record that's twice as old as him almost. That record hasn't been broken in 40 years because it's hard to rush for 2,100 yards. If everybody can do it, it's only, what, 8 guys that have ever rushed for 2,000 yards in the history of the NFL. Give him an opportunity, and Sirianni won't be able to live this down because he's not winning a Super Bowl, and his rest going to be for nothing.
And I will add also, I especially don't want to hear this injury argument from Philadelphia. If Saquon getting hurt ruins your chances at winning a Super Bowl, you were never going to win a Super Bowl. This is the same team that won a Super Bowl without their starting quarterback a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it from you at all.
Yeah. All right. So we can wrap this up. He's guilty. Sean Cole says, so we're not going to talk about Joy Taylor. We are going to talk about Joy Taylor in the overtime show. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. If you want to be a part of that. All right. Let's do submitted questions and we'll get the overtime show started.
Well, we also got to do our picks for the super wild card weekend.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do our picks.
Hold on. Let me pull this up here.
Patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's where we're going to be in a few minutes here. And yes, we'll talk about the whole FS1 fiasco, the whole lawsuit that's going on. Joy Taylor's mentioned, Skip Bayless, Emmanuel Acho. Okay, a lot of people implicated. Yeah. All right, thanks for the heads up there before you transition.
Well, you can still hear you over it, so I figure we'll get the thing going, and then you can still hear you talking.
I like them to hear Microphone Man walking on the grass and the birds chirping and him grabbing his mail.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right,
we got two questions real quick. We kind of hit on these already earlier in the show, but from Urban Closer, with the current state of the Ravens, how would you coach the team to beat the Steelers this weekend? I already said earlier, if I'm John and Todd, it's Derrick Henry, then it's Keaton Mitchell, then it's Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, just to switch it up a little bit. Then it's Derrick Henry, until they show you they can stop it. They're going to, you have, a pretty decent run blocking O-line, one of the best running backs in the league, and you're deep at running back. If like I said, if Justice is cleared to play, hopefully he is. Run the ball down their throats until they show you they can stop it, or until they break. I'm guessing they break first.
No, that's exactly it. You run the ball. That they're going to be motivated to stop Derrick Henry early in the game. Every team is, right, because they know what Derrick Henry's about, and they'll be all hands on deck until about 5 minutes into the second quarter, and their hands are on their hips, and they're like, "Man, he's a little heavy, right? I don't know. Are they going to keep handling the ball, right?" He wears you down, and that O-line, to their credit, helps wear down that defense. And that's exactly what we need to do at the beginning of the game. It doesn't matter if it's close in the first half. That doesn't matter. Keep running the ball, soften them up, and we'll stretch that lead out in the second half. And that is the key. And get the tight ends involved. Get Mark Andrews a breakout game. Get Isaiah Likely involved. And then Bateman can eat off of that. But that is the answer. Get Derrick Henry the ball.
Yeah, I would like us to play on some short field. So I want to see some turnovers for us. I want to see solid returns in the kicking game, whether it be from kickoff returns or punt returns. And obviously, we have to run the football effectively. I need to see at least 30 carries, if not 35 to 40. But I also want to see Lamar take some shots early on first down. I know they're going to be crowding the line. He's going to have some one-on-one opportunities down the field on first down. And we can get into some more manageable second and third down situations if we make some passes early on and have some easy completions. Just get Lamar going to where he gets into a rhythm early in the game, because Derrick Henry will get into a rhythm as well. Keaton Mitchell has to touch the football in this game. I don't care if it's on a screen pass. I don't care if you give him 5, 6 carries. Just allow him to feel part of the game plan. And just as hell, if he is healthy, he has to do what he's been doing all season. He's been great in pass protection. He's been great coming out the backfield, catching passes, screens, and things of that nature. So that's what I want to see from the Ravens. Mix it up, but stick with that run. And Derrick Henry, like you said, Brodny, Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry, King Henry, DH, Last King, whatever you want to call him. Give him the ball early and often.
All right.
Next up, we got a question, of course, from our guy Jay. He says, will Garrett Wilson and Bryce Carolina Reaper Young be the new best wide receiver QB combo come next season? No, I don't think so. I think that Garrett Wilson ultimately is going to stay in New York. I think his problem is with Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to get Aaron Rodgers up out of there. But I do think that it will be Bryce Young to T. Higgins.
I disagree. I think Aaron Rodgers does come back because he's that type of a hater. He's got Woody Johnson in his corner. His best friend Devontae Adams is still there, and I think they try to run it back one more time. They will trade Garrett Wilson, and I think he's hinted towards going to Carolina and playing with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason to not make that happen.
Well, it depends. If they're asking for a first round pick, that's a reason to not make it happen right there.
They can get one, not yours, right?
Yeah, they don't have any others. So
you trade back, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how that can happen.
We'll see. Like I said, if you're asking for a first round pick, take the second plus whatever else from Carolina. But like I said, I don't think that even the Jets would sell out Garrett Wilson for 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers who can't play anymore and who has proven that he will not get you anywhere near contention. If they had been a playoff team this year and just kind of fell short, then yeah, okay, I think they bring him back. But they were god awful, and Aaron Rodgers in particular played very, very poorly. So I don't think that there's any chance of them bringing him back at the risk of losing Garrett Wilson.
Well, I think that you're underestimating Woody Johnson as an owner. I can see Aaron Rodgers coming back. I mean, Robert Saleh, the only reason he isn't there is because Aaron Rodgers wanted him gone, regardless of what he said in the media. He wanted him out. That's why he's gone. The only reason Devontae Adams is there is because Aaron Rodgers wanted him there. The only reason Valdez Scantling is out there is because he wanted him on the team. And before that, he wanted Randall Cobb on the team, and he picked him up the year before last. So I can see one more season of Aaron Rodgers. He can't go out how he went out this year. What did they win? 4 games?
He gonna go out. He gonna go out worse if he comes back.
Yeah, but he's too stubborn. He's too stubborn to go out like this. He's been the butt of a lot of jokes, and he had a terrible season. I see Garrett Wilson wanting out because he can't play with Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't want to be there. And I could see him going to Carolina. I don't know what type of package they're going to put together, but they can't get fleeced in the deal. It can't be 2 first-round picks in Coker for Garrett Wilson, because that's the type of deal that they've done in the past, and that's come back to bite them. So I'd like to see him go to Carolina. I think that his timeline is similar to Bryce Young's. They're both, 22, 23 years old. So that would be a great match as far as them being on the same page, being in the same generation, essentially. And they could develop together as a wide receiver quarterback duo. But if not, T. Higgins certainly would be somebody that Carolina should look at. I just don't know how much he's going to cost. I think he's going to cost north of $100 million, maybe.
Yeah, I don't care. Just pay him.
Pay it. Yeah.
Pay him whatever. Denver, why do we refuse to acknowledge that in some games the Baltimore Ravens cannot run the ball? Because their lowest rushing total this season was 99 yards. That's why. They ran the ball in every game.
They can't run. When? They've been able to run the ball in every game since 2019.
They're averaging like almost 6 yards a carry. When can they not?
Now there are times where we don't run the ball. That's different.
But even with that, their lowest rushing total this season was 99 yards.
Yeah. All right. Quick picks, and then let's get out of here.
All right. I don't think that we even have the schedule, but that's fine. We all know who's playing this weekend. This is the Super Wild Card weekend. Starting on Saturday, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans. Who you got? Too long. I'm taking the Chargers. Taking Justin Herbert and the Chargers over that fraud CJ Stroud. All right. I told y'all from day one, Bryce Young 1-0 versus Stroud. Going to be 1-0 forever. He's the better quarterback. They made the right pick. No, Houston's had a rough year, and they'll bounce back, but it's not their season. I'm taking the Chargers on the road.
I'm taking Texans at home.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Hater.
Go Chargers. In my Arnold voice, I'm going with the younger Harbaugh. Chargers they're just better right now than the Texans. I don't have too much to say on that.
Especially with J.K. Dobbins back in the lineup.
Yeah.
Saturday evening, it's Pittsburgh at Baltimore. We talked about this earlier. 35-14 Baltimore. They laughed them off the field.
Wow, laugh them off the field. I don't know, laugh them off the field. I think the first half will be competitive. We'll pull away in the second half, but yes, I have the Ravens winning 31-20.
Yeah, I got 27-20 Ravens. I think it's going to be closer than people think. The Ravens just always do this to us, man. They always get the heart rate going, and it's going to be a game where it's going to be in the balance for a little bit. So, take your Tums, your Mylanta, get you a nice little beverage because you're going to need it.
Sunday, we got a triple header on Sunday, starting off 1:00 Eastern time. The Denver Broncos on the road at the Buffalo Bills. Bo Nix has played really well this season, better than most people thought. Denver has a lot of talent there. They're a good young team, but they are not going to be able to get it done on the road against the Bills. I think Josh Allen balls out and they win that one at home.
Yeah, I got the Bills.
I'm going Bills as well. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect, but NFL wants to see Lamar versus Allen in the playoffs, and that's what we're going to get.
The middle game, Green Bay at Philadelphia. That one's a 4:30 kickoff. Taking Green Bay on the road. I think that Jordan Love outplays Jalen Hurts. They've got a ton of talent at wide receiver. They've got their own all-world running back in Josh Jacobs. And I'm taking Green Bay on the road.
Talk about hating.
It's not hating.
I don't think Jordan Love has fully recovered from his early injury. I think it might happen in game one. He's been kind of up and down this year. He looked off in his last game. They lost to Chicago. I don't see him being Philly. I got Philly.
Yeah, I got the fighting Saquon's winning this one. He's going to be well rested after that sabbatical Sirianni put him on over the holidays. So, we got Philly going to the next round.
All right, the evening game, Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one's pretty interesting. I think they're fairly evenly matched teams there. Baker Mayfield has had one of his better seasons. I mean, he turned the ball over a good bit, but he did throw for over 40 touchdowns. Obviously, he got the division championship. Jaden Daniels has been outstanding for Washington. Got to take Tampa at home, though.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa.
I'm going Washington. Love the rookie. It's one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, in my opinion. And it's not just off the numbers. It's off of impact. Nobody expected him to be in his position right now. So shout out to Jaden Daniels. I think it's going to be a great game. They played early this year. I think it was a Monday Night Football game, and that was a very good contest. I'm expecting a one-score game, but I got Commanders winning 30-27.
All right. And then the Monday night game, Minnesota, the the 5 seed after losing to Detroit, going on the road to face the LA Rams. And honestly, I kind of want to pick the Rams in this one at home because I just don't believe in the Sam Darnold resurrection as much as I wish it were true for him. I think it's fool's gold, and I think they go out there and then they get beat by Matt Stafford and McVay.
Wow. Nah, the Rams, they're not it either. Like there's something off with them as well. I'm gonna go Minnesota this round.
I agree with you, B. I'm going with McVay, Stafford, Nakua, Cup. I'm going with those boys, man. Darnold just looked horrendous against Detroit,
This
and
is
I
insensitive, Jay. Okay.
yeah,
We will have order here, Jay. Order. That
Mm-mm.
is not nice.
I just can't unsee Sam Darnold and that performance that he put up Sunday night. I don't think he's going to be able to make up for it.
Okay. All right. All right. Those are all the games. We are getting out of here. Patreon.com/LBHT Show is where you can find us. Adrian, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can hit me on all social media at the Sunglass Kid, DASUNGLASSKID. Super Bowl coming. Ravens, you know what it is. Let's get it this weekend. We stomping a mud hole in Pittsburgh.
All right, y'all. Patreon members, get ready. The overtime show is starting right now. Like I said, if you want to be a part of it, it's just $5. If you want to catch it for free, uh, pull up our Christmas episode. Click the link, and if there's some available, some free memberships available, you can join that way. But otherwise, it's about to go down. We're about to talk some FS1 fiasco, okay, and some other stuff. Come join the show. We'll see you in a minute. Everybody else, have a great night. We will see you next time. Peace.